Hey everyone, this is Gary with Older Man, Stronger Man. I hope everybody's doing well and getting stronger, and the new year is kicking in and things are looking better for you. I have a few things I wanted to talk about. One was I recently had a blood test and have some results that are good and not so great, but good. And then the first thing I want to talk about is my hip replacement. Went to the doctor 7 weeks post surgery, and the hip is looking great, man. If you saw the X-rays, man, they're looking fantastic. Except for being diabetic, it's a scourge, man. Don't continue down that road of diabetes, especially if you're type 2. I believe personally you can reverse it, and at the very worst, you can control it, which makes life way better for you as a person. So mine is not healing where the incision was to do the surgery, where they used it as access to get inside and do the things they needed to do. It created an abscess. And last Thursday I went in and I talked to my doctor, and he goes, "This is diabetes. This is why we don't touch anybody in surgery that is sitting with an A1C of over 8. And mine was below 8. It was 7.6, and it's still giving me trouble. And so now I can see, the wheels are going around in my head, and I can see why doctors don't want to mess with it. I'm surprised they want to mess with it over 7. There is a liability there for the patient. And this is one of the things I really want to really encourage people to start taking control of their diabetes. Type 1, I'm a type 2, but technically a type 1. Lost 90% of my pancreas, as you probably know. And so I'm always going to be insulin dependent. So I'm watching the carbs, the sugars. I'm almost at a zero carbs, and I still am battling with higher blood sugars than I'd like to. My goal is to get below 7. The last one I took, this last blood test, was 7.7, so it creeped up a little bit, and I'm not eating all that much different than I was before, and that all has to do with what the liver is doing as far as making cortisol and how it reacts to your whole body, etc. So I went in, and a couple of weeks ago, I went in and I had some blood work done. And one was for the A1C, one, for the prostate. That's looking good. A whole bunch of lipid types of stuff. And one of the things I wanted to share with you, and this is for guys out there. 10 years ago, I was on TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. And I was told I had irreversible low T. I think they call it hypogonadism. And I had a 140 range. And he says, this is the way it's going to be for the rest of your life. And I said, whoa. So I started taking and giving myself those nasty shots that go into your butt or your leg, and intermuscular, right? And they're big, and they have to be big because the testosterone that you're shooting in is very thick, and so it has to have a conduit to get to your area there. And so I did that for about a year. Hence, I was lifting weights. I've been lifting weights most of my life, and I was talking to a buddy of mine. He goes, "Man, you don't need that." I go, "What do you mean you don't need that?" And he goes, "All you need to do is start lifting weights more seriously. Do your squats, do your leg presses, work your ass off." And he meant your ass. He was saying that, hey, this is where you generate your testosterone, not only your free test, but your testosterone in general. And so I stopped because it was a pain in the butt, number one. And number two, it was expensive. And so I stopped nine years ago and started doing that. And I noticed my testosterone kept going up. Now, this was something that the doctor told me. You're never going to have the ability to create testosterone, your gonads, your whatever, or asleep, and they're just never going to wake up. And so here I am, 65 years old, and I just took my blood test, and the testosterone came back, and it's 752. The doctor looked at me and he goes, "So you're on TRT, right?" And I said, "No, sir. Haven't been on TRT for 9 years." And he's like looking at me and he's going, "Wow." And I believe that you can reverse this. You can create it. I think it's way healthier than sitting here taking a synthetic testosterone to, create your manliness. When really, if you think about it, create your manliness by being a man. And that's different for different people. But all men are built to drive. I mean, this is what we are. We are the drivers in the whole relationship thing. And that means lifting weights. That means getting in and doing the tough stuff. And, this is why guys are doing the infrastructure in the country. This is why guys are up on the line, lines during rain, sleet, snow, winds, unbelievable stuff. This is the way we're built. And I apologize zero for that. This is who I am. This is where I'm built. And I think we get caught up in this sedentary lifestyle where it makes us less manly. That testosterone drops and it just disappears on our radar, and it's slow. It's like death by 1,000 cuts, right? And it's slow, and it's just ever increasing and decreasing, and the problems all of a sudden, you just don't feel like making love to your wife, or you just don't feel like whatever. And I don't believe it's necessary. I think we are taught that from school grade on. This may ruffle people's feathers, but I can't and I won't apologize. Little boys are taught not to chase girls, not to wrestle, not to run and chase, and just be out of your mind for a while, and be boys. We're different than girls, and it's a good thing. And so what is the statistics, man? It was unbelievable. I'm supposedly have half the testosterone, my age generation, half the testosterone that my father had. And then the people, my 40-year-old kids would have half the testosterone of me, and so on. So this is why these 20-year-old men are having TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, because their bodies aren't making enough of it. And there is no reason for it, because your body will make it. I mean, unless you have some adverse, and I just refuse to believe that, most people have this inability to create testosterone. I'm sure there is a reason for some people to not build it and make it, but I don't think it's for everyone. I don't think just like diabetes, I don't think there's something that makes everybody diabetic all of a sudden. I think it's the crap that we eat. It's the amount of sugars that we put in our bodies. And it's the same thing with this testosterone. By the way, testosterone is only one of the hormones, right? And another of those hormones is insulin, right? And so how we respond to the crap we're putting in our bodies is life-changing. And so this is where insulin resistant comes from. This is where glycation comes from. Your stickiness and just being unhealthy. And I'm no genius on this stuff. I'm learning this stuff as I go. But, I get kind of angry at the point where doctors and these health institutes have totally changed the way we've eaten, and we have got sicker and sicker and sicker, and men have got weaker and weaker and weaker, and we're supposed to apologize for being men, and I don't think so. That's what this channel is all about. It's about, here I am, 65 years old, and for some reason, I've got a 752 without TRT, testosterone reading. And that is pretty damn good for a guy my age. Could you imagine if I was on replacement? I'd be in the 1,000, maybe more than that. And but my drive is excellent. My wants for getting in the gym and working every day, I don't lose energy. My energy levels are high. I'm able-bodied. That's what this channel is going to be all about, is being able-bodied, being able to make love to your wife, being able to rise to the occasion of doing whatever that physical challenge is in your life, instead of just going, well, that's just the way it is. I guess this is just what it's like getting older. I guess that's the way it is. I refuse that. I refuse that. I always say this. I can't guarantee that you'll live longer, but man, it would be nice to live better. But I also believe that you will live longer if you take care of your body, man. It's very forgiving, man. You can treat it like crap for years, and it will forgive you, and it will bounce back. Not to 20 years old. You're never going to be 20, but it'll bounce back to capabilities, and that's what it's all about. And so I was kind of excited. I'm excited a couple of things. My prostate exam looked really good, or my, the blood test on that looked really good, way below what they say, you should be. And then the testosterone's up. The one thing I got to pay attention to is my blood sugar. And if you're not paying attention to your blood sugars, man, that's life-changing. It's life-changing for me. And this was eye-opening when my incision wasn't healing, and it was there was an abscess in there, and he had to dig it out. No pain blockers at all. And so there he is in the office with blood just pouring down and digging out this thing and the sutures, because my body had an adverse reaction to the sutures themselves, and there's this pus, and I don't want that to happen to anybody. And the only way you can do that is keep yourself ready and able-bodied. And so this is a journey, man. And there's no reason a 65-year-old person, look at me, man, I'm missing half of my insides because of surgery. I have 10% of my pancreas left, and I'm still driving. And if I can do it, I know you can. And I absolutely know you can. And I don't care where you're starting from, man. You can get to where you want to go if you really put it out there and you really, really decide to make this happen. All right, man. I just wanted to check in with everyone. I hope everybody's doing well. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. This is Gary with Older Man, Stronger Man.